Okay, hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel, and today is starting a new series that I'm doing called 2020, My Year, My Journey. It might be more of a boring videos for you to watch, but if you're into that kind of stuff, I really hope you'll enjoy it, and if you're not, that's okay, and you don't have to watch this one, but if you are, I hope you enjoy it, so make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and with that, we'll get on to the video. Okay, so I'm starting this series today, and honestly, it's more for me so I can look back on, because I'm not always the best at writing in journals, but I have been getting a lot better at that, but it's just like, this has been a very impactful year in my life, and honestly, believe it or not, it's been a really good year for me, and like for my personal growth. So today I'm just gonna be doing a full 2020 rewind of just like going through every month of the year, and if you don't think this is for you, it's fine. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go from January to December and just like talk about how I've grown as a human being and just as a person. And yeah, so I can look back on this because I'm always like trying to remember when did that spot really hit where and I think I was working on it, and I think this may just be me, but I think a lot of people did, and I feel like I went through a lot of different phases during the quarantine and stuff. So I'm just gonna talk about, well, I guess what I just said, my year, my journey. So I'm gonna start with January. So for January, not much happened. Of course, this was really a year of personal growth, and there were some things I was already trying to work on, but really not much happened in January. It was a pretty okay month for me. It started off it was like, 2020, this is gonna be such a good year. I was just very excited that the year was changing because I thought it was a cool number. And then in the beginning of January 2020, I think I was doing okay, but I think I wasn't like at a good point with myself, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't super happy, but I think I was doing okay in the beginning of 2020. Towards the middle of 2020, I went on winter retreat with my church, which was so much fun, and we won, and I was so excited. That was a really good time. So I was having a pretty good time, but then towards the end of January in 2020, I think I was feeling this the whole time, but towards the end of January, I think I felt it more, is that I was just kind of feeling left out of things in general. And this was like the very end of January. Like around the 31st, so this is almost February, but I'll include it in January because I didn't have much to say about January. So I was just feeling kind of left out, and I was understanding my emotions because all my life I think I've been pretty aware, but not self-aware. Like I hadn't gained that self-awareness yet, but I'd always been aware, and I think my mom could see it, like some of these things that like I've been realizing. I think she's seen all my life, so it's kind of interesting. But I think I just felt like left out with everything, and I felt like I didn't really have many close friends, and I think I still kind of feel that way now, but like I'm content with where I am. So back to January, I just like was feeling lonely, and like I was never in with people, and that I couldn't really express my emotions myself because I was still bottling things up, and I don't really like to share things, but I've been definitely working on that and becoming more vulnerable as a human being. But I was definitely very bottled up, and I was having a hard time that month, and I just like was feeling very left out in life and kind of down in the dumps towards the end of the month. But for the most part, January, but not much happened, if that makes sense. What I just said might not have made any sense. So let's move on to February. In January, we had our science fair for my homeschool co-op, and I did a project with my friend, but I don't think it was that amazing. We weren't that amazing at it, but we got a third place trophy, and I wasn't even there to get the award, but I don't at the science fair, but I don't think it was because of the project. If they were just all laying out, I don't think I would have gotten third place. I think it was how I explained it. I think that's like in January, this was the little glimpse of when I realized that like what I was capable of. Like I realized that what I am is that I'm a good talker. And I think that's more when I realized that I wanted to be able to go into career field where I'm talking. Like I'm talking to you guys right now. So yeah, I think that's when I really realized I was a good talker. But I guess that's something I might put in a different one. Oh, and by the way, one thing I regret is that I had taken so many Google Notes. Like I would take whatever I felt in the moment, I would put it on my Google Notes on my phone. And then stupid old me decided that I should like factory reset my old phone because like I wasn't using it anymore. I wanted to just like I don't know. I think I was just trying to like cleanse myself. I'm done with everything in that phone. And then I tried to save my Google Notes, but I couldn't do it. So I don't have anything. So if I didn't write it down in a notebook, I just have to go from my memory, which is pretty good. But I wish I had my Google Notes from the earlier months if I didn't write anything down. So anyways, February. So February started, not much happens. I was still feeling down in the dumps. And I'm not exactly sure when this happened, but there is some point where I came and talked to my mom about how I've been feeling and everything that was bottled up, but I don't think it was yet. I could be wrong though. I feel like it was February, March's time. But the main thing that happened in February what happened for me, is that I discovered Enneagrams, which has really made a big impact in my life. And I think it was just a very small dose of what I was gonna discover like about myself in 2020, because I think it helped me understand myself a little more, because now I could make a whole separate video about Enneagrams because they're not going to make sense if I try to explain it right now, but I think I discovered Enneagrams and it really helped me with myself. And then another thing that happened in February, very early February, that was really amazing was my friend Elizabeth, my longtime friend, had long time. I'm not that old, but like a friend of mine that I'd had since like first grade, that we're not like super close anymore, but there's a group of us that we've just known each other since elementary school, and like it's people that like we might not be the closest with her anymore, but we're still like we can catch up anytime, and like it's comfortable. So we had her birthday party and we did an escape room and we went to the melting pot, and it was just so much fun. It was probably one of the highlights of my year, not gonna lie. So yeah, so February, I think I was thinking a lot, but I didn't really know what was going on in my head, and I think I was just still bottling it up, and like my emotions were still being bottled up. And yeah, that was February for me. So we'll just move on to March. March is the big month for me, so yeah. March starts like any other month. I'm preparing for the ballet performance that we're doing. Yeah, so we're really not doing much. I have Tech Week. We're leading up Tech Week, and it's also leading up to my little sister's birthday. And one of my good friends is having a birthday party because they share a birthday, but not much is happening. And then the day that we're supposed to have either dress rehearsal or our first performance, quarantine hits. It's March 13th, the day before my sister's birthday, and all of a sudden we find out that we're gonna have to we're gonna be home from school for 3 weeks, and we're not going to be able to do our performance for 3 weeks, and we're gonna be stuck home. And I think I was acting like I was sad about it at the time, but what was really weird to me, and it was really weird in my mind too, is I wasn't actually upset that our performance got canceled, because I wasn't really, like, I wasn't featured or anything, and it was kind of freeing for me, which sounds strange, I know. So, like, I wasn't upset at all. Like, I was like, oh, I just get a 3-week break, which it's been more than 3 weeks. But, anyways, so I just thought I was getting a 3-week break. We went on with life. In the beginning of quarantine, I think I was still seeing people a little bit because it was still March. And that's when we started having to do everything on Zoom. And it wasn't too much fun. But in March, I think for me as a person, it was probably a really bad month for me on the inside. But on the outside, I think it was kind of a good month for me because I really wasn't doing anything. So in March, I just wasn't doing much. Not much was happening. Now, when I said March was my big month, I think I lied. I think April was really my big month. So yeah, we'll move on to April. Okay, April. So this was, I think, a really hard month for me, but a really good month for me, if that makes sense. So I think this is where I probably, it might have been May, but I think it was probably April, probably hit my peak of depression. I think I can call it that. Like, I was depressed, I think, in April, because I just had been bottling up a lot of my emotions about a lot of things for, like, months and maybe even years. And I think finally I just had this moment where I was sitting on the counter and then all of a sudden I just started crying. And I just had to talk to my mom because I just couldn't keep it inside anymore. Like, it was not healthy for me to be doing, which it's not healthy to be doing, like, even a little bit, but, like, I had a lot bottled up. And I'm pretty sure this was in April. I might have to fact check with my mom, but I don't think she knows the exact month either. That's why I really wish I had my Google Notes, because then I could know. But I think it was around April. So I couldn't take it anymore. So I had to explain, like, there's a lot of things going on in my head. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Like I just had a hard time, and I wasn't happy. And this might have been towards the ends of April. The rest of April I was doing okay, because this is really weird, but I kind of enjoyed quarantine, like, all of it. Like, I enjoyed not having to do anything, staying at home, and I'm honestly, like, an extroverted person, but I enjoyed being at home by myself, and I think I enjoyed all the personal growth I got to go through. But yeah, so anyways, this is towards the end of April, and I just realized that I was having a really hard time because I think I hadn't been doing well, like, as I used to, where I thought I was a better person, which I really don't think I was a better person at this point, but I think I thought I was. And I think I was better on the outside, like, but I was, like, not very stable. I was upset, and, like, so I just had to tell my mom all the stuff that I had been struggling with, and it was really just, like, relieving and almost freeing, like, because I wasn't used to it, and it was really hard for me, and it was the first time I'd done something like that, and I think I was having a very hard time getting my words out, and I couldn't explain myself as well, because I don't think I understood myself as well at that point. And I think what I've realized now is that it just gets easier and easier, like, to talk. But that was, like, the first time I'd done that, like, ever in my life as I've been older. So I'd never really done that before, so it'd been hard for me. But I got through it, and in April, and it was just freeing, and it felt so good to do that. And I was so glad that I did that, because then for the rest of this year, and hopefully for the rest of my life, I've been able to just, if I have a problem, go be straight up and just say it and be like, hey, I'm having a problem with this in my life right now. Do you think you could help me with it? And I think, because I wasn't very close with my parents, like either of them, because I just like wasn't very open, and I think that's why I've become more close with my mom lately. And there's some other things that I think is why, but that's like the main reason that I just feel like I can talk to her now. And it wasn't like the first time was really hard, the second time was really hard, but after a while it just like it's easy, and it's hard because I feel like I was a very closed off person in general. Okay, so May was definitely a good month for me. I think I was still struggling a little bit, but I definitely think it was a better month for me because in the beginning of May, I was able, and also this is about the point where I was able to start hanging out with friends again. Like, not in close to friends, like, we would be made to social distance and stuff, but like, I think you all knew that stage, like, where you could hang out, but you couldn't be too close. But anyways, so in the beginning of May is when we first were able to get out of the house wearing masks and stuff, of course. But we went to and it was just Lowe's Hardware. Like, we went to Lowe's Hardware. But yeah, we got out of the house for the first time, and it was amazing. So that was the beginning of May. And then, as I told you, there's a lot of things I had been working on with myself for a while. And one of them was letting go. And I think over quarantine, like over the May-March period, I realized that, like, I didn't need, like, old stuffed animals to remind me of things that happened in my life, that we could get rid of some things. So towards the middle of May, we got rid of a bunch of things when we were clearing out my old room. Before I moved down here. But we got rid of so many things. Like, it was crazy. And it's funny because I was a really sentimental person at one time, and I think I still am, but not as much. So I think that all of a sudden I was just able to get rid of all that stuff, and it was really freeing for me because I was like, I'm not crying, and I'm not trying not to cry. I'm okay. Like, I am okay with this. Nothing bad is happening. So I was really happy about that. And what's funny is that I think I was saying that at the time too. Like, I was surprised, but not shocked. Like, I was okay with getting rid of that stuff. I took some pictures of them, and like, I looked bad, so I like put filters on my face and was like, and made weird faces, and I was like, okay, I can remember things, but I don't need to keep every stuffed animal that I've ever owned in my life. I still do have a lot, but like, I don't have them all, and that was okay for me. And there's so many things that went on with me, but this is just like a review of my year. So I guess what I was doing at that point was I was letting go. I was working on being able to let go. And then after that, I'll get back to you. Okay, so towards the end of May, I started doing this 7-day course, which I never really finished, but I don't think I needed it because I wasn't really doing it for the course. I think I just needed to figure out how to describe myself. So with this survivor player named Parvati Shallow, so she was doing this free course. She's a life coach now. So she was doing this free course. So I was like, oh, I'll shine up. So she had these YouTube videos, and then she'd tell you to journal some things. And it was free, so I thought I'd do it. So towards the end of May is when I started taking that course. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through day 2 of the 7-day journey was like things that I realized that I was talking about, and this is where I really think I really started to figure out myself and like how myself worked, and I was able to share it with my mom, which was a huge step for me because one of the things that I was so scared of like all my life, honestly, was just asking for things. Just like it could be asking for something at McDonald's, the grocery store, or like asking questions, because like I think what it was is that I was just afraid. Like, I was afraid of what they were gonna think, because I think So, like, just as a person, that scared me. So what I was able to share this with my mom was amazing for me. So what I wrote was, it was like, I'm not sure what the questions were, but I was like, okay, so I'm good at talking, and I'm inspired by straight up honesty, because I was really worried, because like I would like cut around the corners and stuff when I talked to people, and I don't think that was good for me. And I think I've definitely become more of a confident person, like in a good way, throughout quarantine, and like I don't really care what people think anymore. Like, as in, I thought people would judge me for a while, and I'm sure they still can, and they can feel free to, but I don't think I need to care what other people think, because, in my opinion, now, you can, like, if someone doesn't like you, they don't have to talk to you. You don't have, and like, if you do something embarrassing in front of a stranger, you're probably never going to see them again. So, like, that's kind of how I do it. And then, lately, and then I'm motivated by shame. And this is just all stuff I was just like figuring out in May. And I think what I meant was that I would feel shameful about certain things, and then that would motivate me, and then I'm energized by being around people, because I think just being, I'm a people person, and I was energized by being around people. And then things I needed support for, I was realizing that my weaknesses were that I was afraid of what people think, I was afraid of death, I was afraid of life, I was just fearful. I was a fearful person. And some of my vulnerabilities were that I feel the need to defend myself constantly, which I'm trying not to do anymore. And then something I'm still doing that I don't like is at that time, I'm doing okay right now, was ballet, because it was on Zoom and I was just trying to figure myself out. But I shared those things with my mom, and so yeah, I think it was a tiny bit in May when I went through that with my mom. But anyways, that's what I realized in the end of May. And then the next thing, this is still in May, so yes, May was quite the impactful month for me. Okay, so June. So June, I think, was pretty good for me. I started it off pretty well, and then there was something that happened. Now, the way I said that sounded like it was a bad thing, but it was a good thing for me. And I'm just gonna try to briefly explain it. I might explain it more in a future video. But basically, so for a while, I'd been feeling pretty high on myself. I don't think it was in a bad way, just I was like feeling better about myself, because I hadn't been for a while. And I think I was really getting more in touch with my emotions and stuff, and I was doing okay, and like, but I think at this time I was really feeling bad for people still, but I wasn't yet to the point where I felt like I could feel bad with people, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna explain this situation real quickly. My mom was reading a book and something happened, and like, I think I'll read all of this in another one, but I might have to like trigger warning that a little bit. But anyways, so all of a sudden, we were reading a book and something happened, and I just screamed. And I'm not a screamer or a shrieker. I don't do it very often. Like, if I'm scared, I usually just start laughing. I don't scream. And so I just screamed, and it scared people, like, in my house, just because, like, you don't usually just hear a random scream. And then I think I just started crying. And my mom thought she just scared me. And so we just kept going. And I think my mom thought that I was mad at her, which I definitely was not. And I think I was very upset in this moment. I was like, I don't know why I just did that. because I was still working on being able to explain myself. So I just went to lay down, and that's when I started bawling. And I was scared. Like, I was honestly scared because I don't usually randomly scream. So I was scared very much. So when my mom finished reading, and then we just kind of prayed, and I tried to explain to my mom what happened, and she thought that like it was hormones or something, but I was like, no, you scared something out of me. And in my head, I was like, I don't know. I was like, she just scared the crap out of me, but like I knew that wasn't it. Like, she scared something out of me. Um, I didn't want to share it, and I thought that it might be something like weird, but like I didn't even know. And and I don't know if I'll ever know, but like after that there was a lot more crying, and then I realized that I think she scared the empathy out of me, and that sounds really weird. But in the book, what happened is that um what happened was that I was just like standing at the mirror trying to figure out how many inches of my hair I'd cut off, because I was like cutting my own hair at the time during quarantine. Like, I was just getting bored and cutting my hair. And then the boy in the book went missing, and then my mom said, he better not be dead. And then I said, they wouldn't do that. And then all of a sudden, the main girl, the next thing she said was she was wearing a dress. So I was like, oh, she's at a funeral. So I was like, I knew he was dead. And then the girl said, he was dead. And I, like, it sunk in. I was okay. And all of a sudden, my mom said, he's dead. And that's when I screamed. So I think it scared the empathy out of me, because like I'm not a big animal person. I like animals, but like when an animal dies in a book, I don't cry. If an animal dies in a movie, I don't cry. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because I like animals. Like, I don't want animals to die, but like it doesn't hurt me. So, but then, and I think I was being kind of cold at this time. I was in a very cold phase, where I was like, where I just kind of wanted to be like this ice queen who didn't let people in too much. But at the same time, I was trying to work on myself. And so, yeah, I think it scared the empathy out of me. That's how I describe it. And if my life was a TV show, I think that would have been the title. And I realized that I hadn't been feeling empathy for a long time. Like, I like to avoid sad things. I would be kind of cold-hearted. But when my mom said he's dead, I finally felt it. Like, because it had been a while. And the empathy, I think, is what scared me. Like, that feeling scared me. And then we prayed again for me to have peace. And I think all of a sudden I just felt better, because I was like it was very hectic. So this might have been my peak. Like, wow, like, Jade, you can do this. Like, you got this. So the rest of June was pretty good for me. I got a haircut. I don't know why I need to include that. I was able to hang out with my friends, and it was really good. And then the beginning of July. What happened in the beginning of July is I actually was able to go to camp. Or this would have been more mid-July. But yeah, I was able to go to camp, which I hadn't done in a while. I mean, like, I guess you only go once a summer, but it was really cool experience for me, and I was really excited that I was able to go to camp. And became really close with this one girl in my cabin, and I think this year of camp was really good for me. Like, it was good to get out of the house. And then I came home, and right when I came home, I got upset again, because reality hit me, and like I think I was in this little like camp bubble where I think I just like felt like people got me, kind of. And then I came back to reality, and the first thing I did after I got home from camp was like I had to go to this thing with like a bunch of Rockford people, and like you can't deny this if you know Rockford people. Rockford people are kind of have this way about them, and I think it's fine, but like sometimes they're a bit much, and all of a sudden it hit me, and I was like, oh, it was like in the Wizard of Oz. I was like, click, 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 Jade, I don't think you're in Cedar Springs anymore. And this part probably doesn't make sense to you, and I think I explained it at the time, but I don't know a way to explain it. But anyways, so mid-July, later, I got to go to West Virginia. So this was very exciting for me. West Virginia, if you do not know, is a trip that you go on with your church, and I think this was really good for me cuz there's this little booklet that you had to fill out every day, and I wish I had it. Like, I don't know where it went, and then like your leaders and stuff wrote notes about it. But this was probably one of my favorite parts of the year. It was really nice because there's only 2 other people from my small group who came. So for me, I liked that because then like there couldn't really be drama within the small group somehow, because like there's only 3 of us. So I went on this trip. It was really great, and I felt like, because as I told you, I have I tend to not like to share with people, but we would go around and always share something, and I think I was really able to express how I was feeling, and it was really good for me. This is probably the longest part that I'm doing, and I don't know if I made a transition to July, or from when I started this it was in June still. But anyways, so yeah, I just think it was really good for me. So let's go into August now. Okay, so August begins, and I got home from West Virginia, and I had to instantly go to this thing with a reunion thing, and I didn't get to be there very long, so I was very tired. But then the beginning of August is my birthday, but I had to wait a little bit till I could do that. But anyways, in the beginning of August, I have my birthday party, and I had some girls over, and they slept over, some of my friends, and it was just a really good time, and probably one of my best birthdays, honestly, because like it just felt like we were all just like doing something, so we were all just like so I think what I just said made no sense whatsoever. But anyways, I just like, it was a good birthday because there wasn't like a huge amount of people, but there was a good amount of people. It was just like the people that I was close with, that like no drama. And the rest of this month, I think I went back to feeling down in the dumps a little bit, because I think you get on kind of a trip high, if that makes sense, where you just get really excited, and then like reality hits. It's like, it's not going to be like this all the time. But it was also a fun month because I got to hang out with my friends a lot. We rode bikes, went down to the dam, and like it was sunny, and so yeah, it was a pretty average month. Like it felt like normal summer, except we had to wear masks. But I was also, sometimes I would just like, I'd have bad days where all of a sudden like it was like on again, off again. Like I could feel really great, really like in touch with my emotions, or I could just be down in the dumps and want to lay on my bed and not talk to anyone all day. Like it was kind of hit or miss for me. But that was basically all of August, so I'll just move on to September now, so this video isn't like 3 hours long. Okay, so September started, and it was honestly just a good time in September. We went to Shipshewana for my mom's birthday. School started up. That's not very fun, but it's fine. The Big Brother season was in the midst, and church stuff started up again. Honestly, September was just a good month for me, and I don't have much to say, so I'll just move on to October. Okay, October. So this month, where it was like life really started up again. I was like, oh, this really is a new school year. And I think how I was feeling in the beginning of October was I was really just feeling dispendable. Like I was upset because, like, I was back in the dumps about, oh, I'm lonely, I don't have any friends. But I think that was me being a little over dramatic. But I'm just going to explain how I really felt. So I think I just felt mad because I felt dispendable, and because I thought, well, people generally like me, but no one really loves me. And I don't mean like in a romantic way, but like no one, it felt like no one really like wanted to be around me. And like I just wanted to like pack up and move and reinvent myself and in a new place. Like, now I'd felt like that for a while, and that was a key point in like March or April that I told my mom that I was like, Mom, if Dad had a different job and we had to move right now, I would be 100% okay with it. And that was a scary thing because that used to be like one of my greatest fears. But I was like, you know, I think if Dad had to get a new job and we had to move right now, I'd be okay with it. So that was just kind of a recurring theme. And now I've realized that, like, that's just how I feel. But for a while, that was a scary thing. But anyways, back to October. In my opinion, I thought that I was a better person, a more confident all around, just, like, cooler person that, like, in October than I had been previously. And I don't mean cooler, like, in a weird way, just, like more comfortable person is a better word. And then, but then I felt like apparently nothing had changed. I was like, I've changed. Have you, like, but I guess the situation hasn't changed. And I just felt like I went back to things and the same things were happening. And it was upsetting me because I felt like, that, like, if I had to move, like, I wasn't sure if there'd be a single friend that would actually cry over it. And I didn't like that. And maybe that was wrong. And I just felt like it would work better for me, and that didn't make sense, but I just thought that there was something with me that was like a flaw in my personality, not in other people. But I was like, what is that flaw in my personality that like makes me a dispendable friend? And then I think I just kind of had to get through it mentally because I just wanted to get through it was a get through mentality, not mentally. It's like I just felt like I had to get through the rest of 8th grade so it can be finished. And that's when I started to contemplating like homeschool versus like real school, because for a while I was just like, yes, I want to go back to real school in high school. And then there's a time where I was like, well, I feel like I could just get through high school and then move out faster if I'm homeschooled. And like, I don't know if any of this is making sense, but I'm hoping that it does so I can look back at this later. So that was basically my October. But the rest of the month, sometimes it was pretty good. Like, we had Halloween. That was a lot of fun. And I think that was a good time. So let's just move on to November now. Okay, so November. November was just a good month for me, and I felt good because I realized that I was like, hey, I've really grown in this past year, and I've really been able to, like, find out what I want to do with my life, how I feel. Like, I just felt like, hey, I'm doing pretty well in November. It's a pretty good month for me. I realized that I wasn't afraid to ask for things. And by the way, I'm not telling you everything I learned because that's going to be a separate video. But anyways, let's just move on to December. Not much happened in November. Okay, so December is, not much happened in December either. Like, because of Vlogmas, you saw every single day in my December. But I didn't really have bad days because I think all of a sudden, I just, like, decided I wanted to be happy because I realized, like, I was like, hey, I think sometimes I just want to be down in the dumps. And I'm like, happy is a conscious choice, and I want to make that. So I think I was just pretty happy in December. So this 2020 My Year, My Journey series is hopefully going to be a video out every single day. And I know I just did that for a whole month, but just going to be like a 1 week series. And then I'm not going to have this many videos out usually. I think I've just got a lot like end of the year stuff that I've got to say. But anyways, this was part 1 of 2020 My Year, My Journey. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in part 2. By the way, so I just wanted to tell you that today, hopefully you're seeing this on the 29th. So on the 29th, you'll be seeing this, which is my full 2020 rewind, which is just like going over what happened, but not completely like going through everything I've learned. And then the next day, hopefully will be part 2, which will be part 1 of what I've learned in 2020. And then the last day of December, I'm going to be reflecting on my resolutions that I made last year for 2020 and see how that worked out. And then making new ones, because this is gonna sound really dorky, and it is. It's like super stupid, but I enjoy it. I actually have a life goals notebook, so like I just call them life goals, like not a bucket list. So I have specific resolutions for the year that I'll be so I'm gonna be doing those with you guys this year. And then on the first day of January, I'm gonna finish up what I've learned in 2020, because I've just learned a lot, and I feel like I don't want these videos to be too long. And then on the second day of January, I'm gonna be looking through all my notebooks and just like reading to you exactly what they say, like word for word. So that's scary, but that's what I've decided to do. And I might like chicken out and decide not to do that, but I think I'm gonna do that. And also, I might have kind of been through those things, and if I feel like I've already gone through all those things, I'm not going to do that. And then, so it might end up being a 6-day series. And then on the 3rd of January, hopefully, I'm going to talk about how Survivor affected my life, because there's a lot of things in here that like were with Survivor, and I just felt like they didn't make sense, like, to add them in. So I'm just going to put anything that has to do with Survivor in my Survivor journey, like in part 6, or not part 6. I don't know what part this is at this point, honestly. And then, I think it is part 6. And then on January 4th, which will be part 7, I'm just gonna do an about me video where I'm gonna cover anything that I haven't already covered. So I think that's what's going to be going down. But also, you might get 2 videos in one day sometime, or I might just wait till another Thursday. Yeah, I think I'll wait till the next Thursday. So next Thursday, you'll be seeing a video with my new blender. I don't need to say that. Okay, so that's the lineup for the My Year, My Journey series. I have a lot to say, so that's why I like talking, so that's why I had to break it up in so many parts. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow.
Also, I just want to say I am so sorry this was so long. And if you made it all the way through, like, congratulations to you. So comment down below if you did. Yeah, you deserve, like, a prize for making it. Like, 40 minutes, that's way too long, Jade. So I'll try, but, like, I had a lot to say. So the other videos, I made sure they're, like, hopefully shorter topics. And then the other one that would probably be long, I did split up into 2 videos. So yeah, I just want to apologize for it being so long, and I want you to know the other ones won't be this long. Oh yeah, I also want to apologize for looking down a lot. I think I was like looking at, like, reading through some notes and stuff, but I'll try not to do that as much next time.